welcome you to a special edition of our weekly press briefing. Today is quite an unusual venue. As you can see, we're here in the field at the Liberia Poetry Project, all the way here in Kirisburg. So earlier today, it was a field visit with His Excellency the President. So we accompanied him, and that's why we're here holding this press briefing. Wherever you're listening from, wherever you're viewing this, wherever you're watching it from, we'd like to welcome you to a special edition. And as always, it has been a very busy week for His Excellency, meeting different segments of the population, but more so getting updates from his key ministers and key leaders in the different sectors. So earlier this week, the president had a number of different engagements. He had a key meeting with some partners from different parts, but more importantly, there was a key conversation with the Liberia Football Association. As you all know, the LFA is a key institution, especially in pushing forward sports. And the president had a great meeting with them to talk about the expansion of sports in the counties, the different work that LFA is doing. He had a meeting with the president and his delegation there. It was quite an interesting meeting. And earlier today, the president also had an engagement at the foreign ministry. The meeting was in two phases. First, he did a tour to see really what the work of the Minister of Foreign Affairs is doing along with her leadership. They did a lot of different things. If you see the number of transformations that are taking place currently at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the president is impressed by that. He took a tour going through some of the offices, but more importantly, there was also a tour of the Foreign Institute, the Gabriel S. Dennis Foreign Institute, and there was a launch of the ambassadorial lecture series, and the president provided the keynote speech, that is the keynote lecture of the series, and that lecture series was named in honor of Ambassador George Wallace, one of Liberia's prolific diplomats. He's currently one of the foreign affairs advisors to His Excellency, and a number of different things. So this afternoon, the president is heading to Bomi County, where he also intends to meet different segments of the population there. So today we are here. I just earlier on to talk to you about this project very quickly, but to be specific, this is the Liberia Poetry Project. As you can recall, since His Excellency became president, and when he talked about the arrest agenda, the key component is in agriculture. The very first letter in the rest is agriculture. And most of the time, even when he gave his State of the Nation address or the annual message, he did talk about the need to ensure that Liberia is not importing eggs or even chicken. That's the goal. So this project you see behind me here that he came to really look, this project is still in its embryonic stage. It is a project of the Liberian government. This is a project that the government of Liberia signed with some partners, and this project is intending to really create job opportunities in the sector. But it's going to be a full portrait where they will produce they'll produce chicken, they'll produce the eggs, and it's going to help. One of the things that they said on a daily basis, the expectation is to be able to produce over 200,000 eggs in a day. So that means we want to get to a point where, from an agricultural perspective, you have a factory, what we call an egg factory, but it's actually poultry, where Liberia will no longer be looking forward to importation of eggs and other products, especially chicken and birds. And this is something that the president is excited about. His coming here was to basically tour the facility and see where it is. Right now, as I mentioned, we're still in the beginning stage. Behind here. So these are workers who are working here in the construction component. So right now they're still constructing a factory. We took a tour and they're part of what they have there. It's a massive facility, and it intends to provide job opportunity for Liberians, especially young Liberians. Even as we speak now, jobs are already being produced or given here. maybe majority of the workers you see, they're all young people. So this is one of the ways in which President Bouakai intends to empower the country, empower the community. So that's why we are here this afternoon. And because this was a field visit, we look forward to doing more of this, especially going on the road to talking to different people and, hosting our press briefing out of the executive mansion. So I would like to stop here. Should you have any question, any comment on our different issues, please feel free to ask. Good afternoon and thank you for coming.
Work for New Republic newspaper. I want to know what's the value, monetary value attached to this project.
So this is a $26 million project. That's the total cost of this project for now.
So my name is Steve Fellows from P. I want you to tell the public the link between the Liberian government and the agriculture turkey project.
So, like I've mentioned, this is a 100% Liberian owned, but it's a loan that the Liberian government took to be able to do such a project. So this is, and the expectation is that, like the Liberian government is 100% is the Liberia government in partnership with this company to implement this project for Liberia, for Liberians, and contractors, employees, and other people will also be like.
With the exception of eggs, would any other thing be produced here?
Well, for now, the goal is to start with the eggs, what we are told, and then in future, I mean, chicken. Because as you know, right now, currently we're importing a lot of birds, basically chicken. The cold storage, almost different chickens you don't notice. So sometimes, and all these different things they have there on the market. So the goal, President Boakai's larger goal is to see how we can ensure that we have locally produced chickens here that we can feed our markets, and also eggs that will be produced here and they'll be distributed in the different sectors.
Madam PPS, my name is Regan Osmodi and I report for the Liberian Agency. I know the public out there are very much excited when it comes to this project today, but can you tell them the direction of this project?
Well, this project is going to be an ongoing project. It's not because it's a production company, it's a production process, it's a processing plant. So it's not going to be for 2 years, 1 year, 3 years, but it's going to be an ongoing. So right now, for their different stages, maybe what we need to now look at is where we are now. They're still in the construction of the facility. As you can see, you're seeing the dark holes around the wiring, the water lines, everything going around. We went, to the other facility where the generators are and other things. So right now it's still, like I said, in the embryonic stage. So the next stage will be coming to actually doing the do. That is the chicken, the eggs, the actual work. And so because it's going to be an ongoing, so the bigger picture is that Liberia can get to a point where we too can export eggs. When we get to that point now, and then this kind of facility, this kind of project, there's a whole value chain. So the value chain from right now the construction to once they start the production of the eggs, I mean, even getting the chicken, ensuring that they're hatching, and then transporting from the factory to the packaging to the market and all of that. So there's a whole value chain. There's lots of opportunities for employment in those different value chains.
My name is Prince and I report for the news. My PBS development is not just about Maserati. I just plan to carry this initiative in the country.
So right now, I know there are other portrait programs that are in other places. I do know the Minister of Agriculture now. We're just having a chit chat before they left. There's a current project currently in Womi, but it's done by Liberian as well. So the goal is to also replicate this in different parts. But first, you want to make sure you complete this. It works and people begin to see what's going on, the market begin to roll out, and the actual eggs have been produced in a very safe, clean, and healthy environment for the Liberian people. And even the chicken that they will be producing, the eggs, will also be healthy for the population. Once you get that working and it's moving, and you can replicate it in other places. But the goal is to really start from here and now. And
Madam PPS, Madam
this is
PPS,
rural Monserrato, by the way.
Madam
Yes.
PPS, I heard you say this is a loan. Do you care to tell us where the loan was acquired?
Say that again.
Do you care to provide more information on where the loan was acquired?
Where it was
Which
acquired.
institution, if possible?
Oh, that's it. We just talked about the company that's working. So Liberian government normally will engage different partners to get loans. So Liberia will say we want to, and like I said, it's a $26 million loan. But the company is a Israeli company that working with this team here. Oh no, it's a Turkish company. I think that it's a Turkish company that we're working with here for this particular project.
So the funding for this project come from the Turkish company we're discussing.
The funding for this
The
project came
loan,
from
the
the
loan.
loan came from multiple sources. That's what I can say for now.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Madam
Madam
PBS,
PBS,
on this
my name
project,
is
TVR,
Yubini
and
Masale. I report for Sky Communication, Sky FM, and Sky Television. I just want to get you back to where we come from, the Gilbert Oil Dennis Foreign Institute. The president spoke on, he spoke on parable, talk about cat and dog. You very close to the president, serving as press secretary to the president. What does that mean? Do you want to be cat, be cat. If you want to be dog, you be dog. What does that mean?
The president giving horrible ones. But no, I think the president. If you have followed him, and most of you have followed him from a very long time now, the president normally speaks in parable when he starts to give his messages, and when he's doing that, he wants to engage the crowd so that you really loosen up and grabs his message because he's that kind of individual or that kind of president. But what he was basically talking about when he spoke today, he was basically encouraging foreign ambassadors, students who are in the foreign institute to do their best to be ambassadors. Ambassadors of Liberia. When they call you ambassador, it's not just because you want a title, but it's a heavier burden on you that you're carrying, you're representing your country. You're ambassador for your country. So he was basically being jovial about making light of the composition that and he told a story. He didn't just say he told a story about how there was a point out there was a cat and then it turned out to be a dog and then the owner of the brother was like, you gotta
Yeah, the father
decide.
of the children,
Exactly. Whether
yeah.
you want to be a cat or you want to be a dog. So it was for him. That's how he normally, gives his talk. Yeah.
Madam PBS, my name is Frederick Tira, and I report for LBS. The president talked about the placement of competent, and trained personnel in foreign service. Do we expect to see a significant streamlining of growth in foreign missions in the coming days?
Well, in fact, before now, there have been a major streamline. In fact, before the appointment of ambassadors and foreign service officers by the president and the foreign minister, in cases where she had to, do the appointment, there was a whole vetting team that was set up by the president when the foreign minister became foreign minister. He wanted to get an idea of what was happening in the foreign service community, and he asked that they do a full report. So there was a vetting process that was set up, and they vetted almost all of our foreign service people who are in the different countries to see. Some of our people have stayed long there. They need retirement. Some need replacement. Some of them needed to be, retire or put down or do something, or even some of them were unhealthy. All of those. So there was a full process done, and the report was submitted to the president. It was based upon that report and the report of the foreign minister and that's how the recommendation of who to be placed where. That's how you saw the different. So that streamlining have been happening over time, and for the foreign service, it's an ongoing process. And the way it is, sometimes you see when they appoint an ambassador. I mean, there's a whole process. You have to send for an agreement to the country that you want to appoint this ambassador, and it will take time. Once the country agrees for that ambassador to be appointed, and then they will send the communication to the country. The country now will forward that to the president. The president do the appointment. So there's a whole process, and there's been from beginning to where it is now a streamlining of it.
Yes, Madam Press Secretary, just finally from my end, there been information, and going back to governance, there's been information in the media that Mr. Doug Cooper has been relieved of his post. Can you speak to that? Can you confirm or deny?
The president have not relieved Mr. Dal Cooper of his post. So whatever you saw on social media, all the workings of social media. As at yet, as we speak, the president has not relieved Dal Cooper of his post. When the president does that, we will inform you in the soonest possible time. the president have also been briefed. In fact, I didn't tell you this, but during the course of the week, the president had a very important meeting with the president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Mapayan. And that meeting talked a lot about general our education, but more so of the University of Liberia, and that there is an ongoing process within the University of Liberia, and the team have uncovered a lot of malpractices that have happened over the time. And there's a full-fledged investigation that's happening as we speak. And I'm sure you all know there were some actions that the University of Liberia took very recently. And that action has been, the president was updated on the different things that are happening. But as at yet, specifically to relieve Mr. Dokupo of his post, it has not happened. But the president has met Dr. Mapa. You can never know, maybe in a few days, in a few minutes. And let me be very clear, because I know it's quite easier to sensationalize something. Oh, the president have not appointed or have not relieved Mr. Dokupo of his post. This is what the PBS is saying. I'm saying that the president of the Republic of Liberia has not taken a decision yet. However, he has had a meeting with Dr. Mampaya, and that she given him a full range, a full scale of what's currently happening at the University of Liberia, and discussing all the different investigations that are happening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much, and have a wonderful weekend.